Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into what is honestly one of the most fascinating psychological puzzles in all of modern sports. We're talking about the Indian men's cricket team, a literal powerhouse of talent, and we're going to examine their pretty dramatic evolution from a mindset crippled by knockout pressure to what looks like a brand new era of aggressive, unshakable confidence. So, let's dive in. Getting right to the heart of the matter. When you look back at India's heartbreak in massive, high-stakes knockout matches, you really have to ask yourself a tough question. Was it merely circumstantial? Like, was it just a bad bounce of the ball? Or was there a deep-seated psychological barrier literally paralyzing some of the best players in the world? Let's break down what the players, the fans, and the coaches actually have to say about it.
Here's how we're going to break this all down today. 1. The knockout curse. 2. Fear, luck, or both. 3. The fans strike back. 4. A new generation's test. And finally, 5. Confidence, not comfort.
All right, let's start with Section 1, the knockout curse.
For a solid decade now, the overarching theme surrounding this squad has been this agonizing inability to just cross the finish line. We're talking about 10 long years of ICC tournament heartbreak. Despite putting together these stellar, star-studded squads year after year, that final hurdle always seemed totally insurmountable. And over time, this didn't just stay a statistical anomaly. It became this immense psychological burden that every single new iteration of the team had to carry out onto the pitch.
Moving on to Section 2, fear, luck, or both. What's really revealing here is this super candid admission from Captain Rohit Sharma. Right before the 2024 T20 World Cup semifinal, when he was pressed about the team's historical knockout stage failures, he just bluntly stated, it's a bit of both, fear of failure and bad luck. Now, it is incredibly rare to hear an elite athlete openly admit to a fear of failure playing a part in how they perform, right? But he flat out acknowledged that psychological barriers and sheer misfortune both totally derailed their past campaigns.
Which brings us to Section 3, the fans strike back.
Now, you know cricket fans. They don't miss a thing. If you hop onto community forums like Reddit, the collective memory of a billion fans reacted pretty sharply to that bad luck diagnosis. They actively reject this idea of a blanket curse. They'll tell you that in 2014, Kohli basically carried the team. In 2016, yeah, it was the toss and crucial no-balls. 2019, unlucky conditions for sure. But as we get into 2022 and 2023, the fans' patience with that whole luck argument just completely evaporates.
Just look at the brutal honesty from the fans regarding that 2022 exit against England. One fan noted they had no business winning and rightfully lost. And they kind of hit the nail on the head. In that match, a toothless bowling attack, obviously missing the crucial presence of Jasprit Bumrah, was just absolutely dismantled. Look, losing a semifinal by 10 wickets with 4 whole overs remaining, that is not bad luck. As the fans pointed out, it was a fundamentally terrible batting approach when setting a target.
And watch how this frustration builds into the 2023 World Cup reaction. Fans firmly rejected any excuses this time around. As one user put it, going 20 overs without a boundary is, quote, criminal. They didn't blame the venue, they didn't blame the toss. They squarely blamed pure, paralyzing fear. The general consensus was that the batsmen were just completely shackled by the pressure of the occasion, and they allowed their opponents to simply handle the moment way better.
So the absolutely crucial point is how the team actually moves forward from all of this. This comparison perfectly bridges our explainer from the backward-looking trauma of the past to the forward-looking treatment of the future. On one side, you have the acknowledgement of past fear and luck, but on the other, you have head coach VVS Laxman's brand new mantra for the squad, take confidence, not comfort. Let's look at exactly how this is being applied right now. That leads us nicely into Section 4, a new generation's test.
The recent Zimbabwe tour was a massive test for a young, evolving squad that's actively trying to rewrite the team's mental script. Keep in mind, this came right after some pretty tough series defeats to Ireland and England. But instead of folding under the pressure, India bounced back spectacularly. They sealed a commanding 90-run victory in the second T20I at the Harare Sports Club to take an unassailable 2-0 lead in the series.
And honestly, the way they achieved this is what really matters. 95, that was their score by the 10th over, but here is the major takeaway. They got to that score without taking unnecessary chances. It perfectly demonstrated the immense calmness of players like Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan out in the middle. They hit a tricky patch after losing 2 quick wickets, but they just used their experience, stayed calm, and completely flipped the pressure right back onto the Zimbabwean bowlers.
Finally, Section 5. Confidence, not comfort. In a post-match debrief, Laxman basically delivered a masterclass in sports psychology. He told his squad, let's not take comfort from the previous game, but let's take confidence, not get complacent. He is deliberately stripping away their safety net here. By telling them not to take comfort, he's building a really resilient, aggressive mindset that demands constant growth rather than just resting on recent laurels. He's actively conditioning them to thrive in the discomfort of high expectations.
So here is VVS Lakshman's blueprint in action. It's essentially a three-pronged approach. First, positive intent, right out of the gate from openers like Vaibhav and Abhishek. Second, maintaining calm, crucial partnerships under pressure, like we just talked about with Iyer and Kashan, which is perfectly complemented by aggressive finishing from guys like Tilak Varma and Shivam Dubey. And finally, the attitude in the field. Lakshman made sure to praise the team for putting their bodies on the line to save every single run. It's a holistic approach designed to completely eradicate fear by replacing it with proactive, winning habits.
Which brings us to our final thought for today. We've seen the historical trauma, we've seen the fans demanding accountability, and we've walked through this new blueprint focused on aggressive confidence rather than comfortable complacency. But the big question really remains, has the fear of failure finally faded from Indian cricket, or is the ultimate test still waiting in the wings for when that next major knockout pressure hits? Only time and the next World Cup will tell. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone.